What's good, internet? Jake here, dumb as ever, and I've been a Transformers fan my entire life. I've never gone to a Transformers convention. And if you're not a big fan, you might even be surprised that there is a convention just for Transformers. As surprising as it might be, Transformers as a brand is so currently popular that multiple huge conventions happen all over America every year, not to mention the world at large. I have been dying to go to one, because through YouTube I've become friends with so many other content creators, and many of them attended other cons this year, which gave me the worst case of FOMO I've had in a while. So when I realized TFCon was going to be in Chicago, which is relatively close to me, and it was going to happen on the weekend of my birthday, I finally decided to lock in. Thankfully, my acquaintance and fellow YouTuber, JCC22224, actually lives close to me, and we were able to carpool up to Chicago. We were also both asked to be on the YouTuber panel by Treebot, so we were very excited by that opportunity as well. But the day before the con, it was my birthday on the 22nd of October, so I of course had to go do some toy hunting. I went to Target first and was very tempted by the recent 4-pack. Usually the 4-packs do not interest me, but 3 of the 4 figures I was really wanting. Sorry, Horrible fans, I'm glad you're happy with them, but the Ultra Magnus and Nemesis Prime look so cool to me. I ultimately decided not to go for it though, and then we headed to Walmart, where I finally decided to buy Transformers 1 Bumblebee after putting it off. And I'm glad I did, he's an awesome little figure. Though I don't know why they chose to make the silliest character in the movie look so depressed. I also grabbed this Tron Biddy Pop because I've been into those things lately, and the Tron set is perfect. I also grabbed the Jazzwares Aang from The Last Airbender and an Armadillo Minecraft toy. After that, me and my girlfriend got dinner at this new place in town called Jaggers, which was okay, not the best meal ever, but I had no complaints. The next day, on the 23rd, I drove up to meet JCC at the iconic toy department in Fairfield, Ohio. I had seen the store in other videos, but I don't think anything could have prepared me for this place. It was literally so huge and so full of awesome toys. The Transformers section alone felt like a preview of TFCon itself, but before we went in, JCC was kind enough to gift me something from his goodie bag, which he was bringing to TFCon to let fans pick out a gift if they knew him. Out of all the items, I had to pick Fugitive Wasp, who I had forgotten to buy and really needed for my modern animated collection. We spent a solid hour just wandering around the toy department.
These are some OG Transformers that don't transform.
The truth who the eyes met before.
And at some point, we ran into someone who looked familiar.
What's your channel?
Patriot Prime Reviews.
Oh, bro!
Ain't no way.
Yeah, that's me.
I thought you
shit.
looked familiar.
Yeah, how are you?
This is Patriot Prime, and he was actually going to be on the same YouTuber panel with JCC and I. We had only talked once in a live stream the week before, so when we ran into him at the toy department by complete coincidence, I think all 3 of our brains malfunctioned for a second. It's a pretty crazy coincidence too, because he was coming from West Virginia, while we were coming from Kentucky, so 2 completely different routes, but it was really cool that we all ended up meeting in the same place. I came away from the toy department with a few things, Alternator Skids being one of them. Alternators was a line focused around making Transformers with unbelievably detailed car modes, with full interiors and everything. I chose Skids because when I was a kid, I thought the Scion XB was the coolest looking car for some reason. I love the packaging, and I am going to keep him in the package. It's just super nostalgic to me, though I would love to get one to play with at some point. I also picked up the leader class Megatron from The Last Knight. Megatron is one of like 2 ideas I actually enjoy from that movie, and this figure is super cool. The robot mode is sick looking, and I love the huge jet he transforms into. I got him for 15 bucks too, which felt like a really nice price. I will say the plastic quality on him is a bit flimsy though. And finally, JCC gifted me my first Transformers Prime toy ever, the Transformers Prime RID Viacon. I've neglected Prime in general because I missed it as a kid, and I have to say the Viacon is excellent. The way his feet fold out to form the hood is brilliant. After getting pulled into the vortex that is the toy department, we started heading off to Chicago. One quick note though, I put my full toy department toy hunt up for my channel members and Patreon patrons. It only costs $1 a month, and not only do you get exclusive videos, but you also get access to my super chill Discord community. Okay, so we set sail on our way to the Windy City, and it took about 5 hours for us to get there, which was pretty decent considering we stopped for lunch. The Steak and Shake was bizarre. You had to scan a QR code to unlock the drink machine. They were advertising Labubus, and they were selling something called a Bitcoin burger. Whatever the heck that means.
I'm gonna go for whatever that is, right in the middle, that black and gray thing. One go. You only got one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow.
Only comes once in a lifetime, yo.
Yo. Wait.
Oh, wait.
Oh, it's going way too far down.
No.
Oh, no claw strength.
Bro.
I give up. That was pure skill right there. And it did me dirty.
But we eventually made our way to the hotel, and were finally able to relax a bit. I have to say, JCC and I hit it off. I was pretty nervous about hanging out with someone I barely knew for a whole weekend, but I do feel like I made a lifelong friend on this trip. We just really clicked.
You ever heard of this guy?
Yeah, I don't like this guy. You need to change his channel right now.
Which I feel is rare for me because I do tend to bounce off people a lot. But no, JCC and I have the exact same brain rot, and I felt like we were little gremlins at the con running around and constantly doing bits.
That bathroom is made for mini cons, and I'm a leader class.
Since we got in Thursday, there wasn't anything to do, so we just chilled and got dinner at this awful restaurant near the hotel, and then we turned in for the night. The next day, Thursday, was the first day of TFCon, but convention registration didn't start until 5 p.m., and our panel was at 6, so we had plenty of time to kill. Being Transformers fans, of course we went to our local Target. We found some of the new Skibbity Toilet action figures. JCC really wanted to buy them because he's a big fan, but I convinced him not to.
No freaking way. Gummy goo?
I'm turning into Pomni.
I finally found the Indo Series Five Nights at Freddy's figure, which I definitely plan to talk about on my second channel. But that was a pleasant surprise for me since my area hasn't had any. While we were looking at the uninteresting Transformer section, two guys named Johnny and Diego walked up, and Johnny actually recognized our voices.
Are you guys going to TFCon?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are too.
Sentinel Prime.
Voices sound very familiar.
No.
We may or may not be on a panel later on.
My channel's dumbjake
Oh,
on YouTube.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm JCC.
Yeah. Alright.
I couldn't believe it, and to be honest, it's still surprising me. But it was an awesome moment. Afterwards, we got some delicious pizza at a nearby restaurant called Little Angelo's. It was bussin', and I think it was probably the first time I had a pizza made by actual Italian people. After lunch, we headed home and prepared for the con. Thankfully, our hotel had a shuttle that would drop us off and pick us up, so that was really convenient. When we got to the convention hotel, the energy was super apparent, with a bunch of fans already there and discussing Transformers in the lobby. I was immediately approached by Isaac, who walked up and was so polite and kind. Truly a great first interaction. And I ran into him several times over the course of the convention. Right after him was Nikki, who walked up and expressed how happy they were that I talked about Kamen Rider on the channel, which is definitely something I want to do more. Nikki actually brought a cosplay of their own OC called Cuthlo, and they later participated in the cosplay showcase, which was really cool. The biggest shock of the entire convention came next. One of my channel members, Pleco, who has been supporting me as a member for over a year, found me in the hotel lobby to say hi, and they gave me the most incredible, quite frankly unbelievable gift I've ever gotten. They gave me Animated Blackout, which if you don't know was a Transformer only ever released in Japan, and fetches a high price on eBay. I literally just talked about the figure in one of my recent videos, and I said it was one of my holy grails, if not the holy grail toy I want. So here I was, holding it with my own two hands, not even 30 minutes into the convention. This is probably the nicest gift anyone has ever given me, and Pleco, you genuinely made my year. So thank you for not only being a member, but an insanely kind and generous person. After I recovered from the shock of Animated Blackout, JCC and I ended up in the registration line, and I'm glad we did get in the line when we did, because it got super long. I also ran into a bunch of other fans, one of whom being Robert, who gifted me Transformers 2007 Jolt, which is really cool because I love the 2007 packaging, and I think I'm going to hang it up on my wall. When Robert gifted me this figure, I started to realize that I had mentioned that it was my birthday right before the con, so people were giving me gifts because of that, and I just wanted to say that that was not intentional. I love the gifts I was given, but I do want to make it clear that I would have just been happy to meet people. That was also really exciting. But sincere thanks to Robert, of course. I met several other people while waiting in line as well, including this kid that stared me down for a full 30 seconds before realizing who I was. He was literally just staring me down like this. Finally, registration opened and JCC and I were among the first con goers to be registered. We got into the room where our panel was being held and waited while the others got registered. And soon, our fellow panel mates Patriot Prime, Treebot, Bots Obsessions, and Deluxe Baldwin made it in. I was so deeply nervous to do this panel. I was telling myself I would just lock in when the time came, but sitting there and looking at a room full of faces, I definitely was having trouble locking in. I think I made it through and did alright. What's up, TFCon? Jake here, dumb as ever. I make videos about toys and toy history, and I love Transformers as well as a bunch of other types of toys as well, so super cool to see all of you. My favorite part of the panel was Patriot Prime saying this.
I gotta beat my wife and kid. I gotta get it before they do, they start making noise in the house.
Okay, you needed to add something to that for a second.
Just to clarify, I need to get up in the morning before my wife and kid do, so the house is quiet so I can film. You good?
Yes, all right, much better.
Edit that out.
The panel was a nerve-wracking but amazing experience. Afterwards, I had to get a photo with the best cosplay of the show in my opinion, Agent Simmons under the enemy scrotum. This dude not only had an excellent costume, but was so nice. And he had to hilariously tape the stick holding the wrecking balls to the back of his head. Truly one man betrayed by his country, dedicated to his cosplay. After that, I met a bunch more people, including Zepp from the Daft Brothers, a very underrated channel in my opinion. After meeting a bunch of peeps, JCC and I headed up into the room sales. I only learned about these when I actually got to the convention. Room sales are people selling toys out of their room, instead of having a booth in the dealer hall. Some people, like Patriot Prime, were just trying to get rid of some toys they didn't want anymore, while others were basically dealers. I didn't film much while exploring room sales because it felt very invasive, but I did get permission to film something insane. One guy had a prototype version of the HasLab Unicron, which, if you're not a big fan, is an actual insane item to own. He also had a prototype of the Ark, which was also crazy, but not as insane as Unicron. We hit a couple more room sales and found a couple things. I was very tempted by a loose animated Nemesis Prime from the 4-pack, but decided against it once again, opting to save my money for the dealer room. On one of our last excursions, I ran into another fan who actually has a YouTube channel called Just Jake. He posted his own recap of the event, which you should check out, but he also ended up giving me a birthday gift, which was none other than the Nemesis Prime from the 4-pack. I couldn't believe it. I had nearly bought that same figure not even 20 minutes beforehand, so this was an insane gift to get. Also, he was wearing a green shirt and a red backpack, and I swear his outfit was so Kamen Rider Zetsu coded, but he's not into tokusatsu. Yeah, but thanks to Just Jake for that gift, and if you're looking for an up-and-coming Transformers YouTuber, check out his channel. Afterwards, JCC, Bots Obsession, and I wandered off to a restaurant that was expensive but made really good food. I felt like this meal redeemed that terrible dinner from the night before.
And then I grabbed dinner with Nod and JCC 224.
You missed it too. You're on my list. You missed it too.
Don't hit me again!
We then returned to the hotel lobby where Zepp and Nod engaged in Spinning Top Combat Simulator. And finally, JCC and I retired to our hotel for the night. For day one's haul, I ended up with the 3 previously mentioned gifts. And for the room sales, I ended up buying Prime Beast Hunter's Sharkticon Megatron, who is so ugly and cool, and now I have 2 Transformers Prime toys. Look at me go! I also picked up the Classics Megatron, which is a figure I've always wanted, because instead of transforming into a proper pistol, he transforms into what looks like a Nerf Maverick, which I always thought was so interesting. And I believe it's the last time Hasbro even attempted a gun-style Megatron. I love him, and he was only 20 bucks, which felt like the right price. So I was very happy to add these toys to my collection, and I was also happy to go to sleep after a long day. Saturday is kind of the big day of the con. It's when the dealer room opens to the general public, and the dealer room is the main draw for most of the convention, because that's where all the toys are for toy fans like myself, and it's also where Artist Alley and the special guests are. The con was actually super packed. There was apparently way more attendees than TFCon was expecting, and in the wrap-up panel with the head honcho of the con, Colin, he said that they actually had to stop selling general admission tickets at some point on Saturday to help with the congestion, as As an able-bodied person, it was crowded and sometimes uncomfortable, but I was able to move through mostly without issue. That being said, my heart goes out to those with mobility issues, because this con was without a doubt incredibly stressful for those people, as well as neurodivergent people who already struggle with crowds. In the final panel, Colin did say that the con has outgrown that venue, and they will be looking for a new venue for the next TFCon Chicago. So that's good, it's just unfortunate that the con wasn't super prepared for the turnout. But moving on, for the day I decided to wear my Dumb Jake shirt to help people recognize me, which you can get on my merch shop by the way. JCC and I entered the dealer hall around 10 and boy oh boy was it overwhelming. So many different booths with so many incredible toys to look at. As someone who is not a third-party collector, I was gooped, gagged, and betribbled by the stuff I was seeing. In case you're not a big fan, there are companies that make their own transforming toys based on the characters from the franchise. Interestingly, Hasbro doesn't really pursue these companies unless they directly step on their toes, so the third-party scene is actually insane. And you'll see some crazy designs that Hasbro would not or genuinely could not make as a mass-produced item. I've stayed away from third-party, generally because I don't like the high cost of the items, but spoilers, I did get my first third-party toys at the con. More on that later. Since I was gifted my Holy Grail Transformer the day before, I didn't really go into the dealer room looking for anything in particular. JCC, on the other hand, was after the Universal Studios EVAC toy, which is a character based on the vehicle you ride in for the actual Universal Studios ride. It's a really cool concept. The figure has become exponentially rare because it was only sold at Universal Parks, and it was discontinued a while ago. So since I didn't really have a goal figure, I made helping JCC find Universal Studios EVAC my mission. The con was so fun because I felt like I was just moving with the current of people walking, discovering different stuff, and I would also run into people, both fans and friends, randomly.
Excuse me, sir. Do you know if you have the Universal Studios EVAC toy? The movie EVAC?
You're
you know?
Dumb Jake.
Oh, yeah, I am. Oh.
I was like, you look familiar.
Okay. Is it okay if I'm filming?
Sure.
Okay.
Evac. I do not believe so now.
Okay, dude, it's nice. What's your name?
Chris.
Nice to meet you, dude.
I have a microscopic channel if you want to check me out.
Dude,
but,
sure.
yeah.
Let's go. Sheesh, a business card? I need this.
I saw so many cool things, and I'm sure my terrible camera skills are not doing the event justice. Let me know if you see something exceptionally cool in the comments. I took a bit of a dealer room break because it was so hot, and I ended up watching 3 panels. First was Bob Budiansky's panel. Budiansky is the guy that essentially created all the Transformers' iconic personalities, and almost all of their names, including Megatron, which he said he had to fight for because Hasbro thought the name was too scary, and they say kids are too soft now. Comic editor and writer Ralph Macchio was also on the panel, but he answered like 2 questions, and both times he was like, I'm not really familiar with the world of Transformers. I'll give him credit, I like the blunt approach, but he mostly just aura farmed next to Bob. After that panel, I watched the David Kaye and Michael Dobson panel, 2 iconic voice actors known for their roles in several Transformers shows. I was excited to see David Kaye in particular because he had played both Megatron and Optimus Prime over the years, and he had specifically played animated Optimus Prime, who was my favorite version of the character. And it was so cool to hear him talk about getting the role of Optimus after playing Megatron for 10 years beforehand. Michael Dobson was also awesome, being the voice of Starscream in the Unicron trilogy, and the 2 of them together was electric. Watching voice actors on a panel is so fun because they just bust out silly voices and bits non-stop. After that panel was the cosplay showcase, which was a ton of fun. Highlights for me were Cheetor, which looked insane, Prime Starscream, who looked perfect. He even had the 2-tone glowing eyes, which I had not seen before on a cosplay. And of course my goat, the Devastator Balls guy, appeared. After that, JCC and I were ready to skedaddle. But we got some good info from a TFCon staff member named Josh, who told JCC that there was a booth called Has-Been that had a copy of our sought-after Universal Studios EVAC. So with that info, we returned to the dealer room on a mission. We were told a general location, but there were so many different booths that we were still ending up at so many that were not the mythical Has-Been. After the 5th rejection, I was feeling pretty dejected, and we stopped at a dealer table we had both been to at some point. While I was looking at their wares, I realized the dealer's shirt had a little logo that said Has-Been. I excitedly asked if they had evac. After a bit of digging, he pulled out an in-box copy for a whopping $100. Now, the kicker of this hunt is that the toy department actually had a loose evac for $70, and JCC was hoping to find a better deal at the con. So at first, while incredibly cool, this find did feel like a dud, until the vendor mentioned that the big boss of the has-been booth was Rick Alvarez, who had helped design the very evac toy they were selling. So JCC had one request.
So these gentlemen are interested in this figure.
Am I?
What's that?
Sorry.
They're interested in this figure,
Okay.
but they were wondering if you could sign it.
Oh, yeah. I'd be happy to.
Nice to meet you.
All right, what's your name?
Adam.
Adam, would you like me to sign it to you or just sign it?
You don't have to. If you just want to like put it on the cardboard, because it might wear off on the plastic.
This was a good chunk of my life, like about a year of my life, making sure this ride was everything it was supposed to be.
Wow.
You made everyone happy.
Awesome.
And they don't even make the evac toy anymore.
Yeah, we've been
That's why I
searching
told
for it all
myself,
day.
like, this is the one.
Should we get a picture?
Yeah.
Oh,
get a picture.
I can.
It's an acclamation.
Got it.
This felt like a huge win, and even though it wasn't even my toy, I was so happy that JCC found it.
I got him. Signed by the guy who designed it.
Did you want an open copy or a sealed copy?
I just wanted a copy.
Well, there you go. Mission freaking accomplished.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
For all the people that teased me that I didn't have this, here it is.
Who was teasing you?
So many people.
Bro, you're making
so
up
many
people.
I walked to a few more booths and found a loose Age of the Prime Sideways for $18, which is a really good deal, and I knew I wanted that figure. So I just grabbed it instantly. It was one of the easier purchases to make, and I think he's generally pretty cool, though I wish he had some translucent plastic. I also walked by a booth where I noticed they slashed some prices, and I was excited to see the price of their Q Transformers had gone down. Q Transformers are these tiny little guys that turn into chibi robots. I paid $20 for Soundwave, which is a lot for such a small guy, but they usually run for about $40 before shipping, so I felt like it was a good deal, and I wanted to own at least one. I chose Soundwave out of the selection, and he is the cutest little car ever. After that, I visited the table featuring Aaron Archer and Proto Man, the host of the Transformers Slag podcast. I didn't get a chance to speak to Aaron Archer because he's a very popular guy, but I was able to have a quick chat with Proto Man, who was selling this incredibly cool Game Boy cartridge that transforms into Bumblebee. As soon as I saw it online, I knew I had to have it, and I had even commented on Proto Man's video about it, and he actually replied letting me know to introduce myself at the con, which I did, and he hooked me up with 2 more transforming Game Boy cartridges, Pokemon Red and Blue, featuring Dragon, Megatron, and Snaptrap, of course. These transform into Rumble and Frenzy. They were older releases I literally had no idea about. Proto Man really did me a solid, because now I have the whole set, which I absolutely love. I also stopped by Eric Cybernaller's table. Eric was the lead designer of the Transformers animated toy line, which, as you might be able to tell, I am a big fan of. So I did something I never do, and I asked him to sign my deluxe Cybertronian Optimus Prime. And I also bought a copy of the Bumble Prime Transformers animated fan comic, which was created by Kean Carlisle with the help of a ton of artists. The remaining copies of the comic are on eBay right now, and I highly recommend picking it up for animated fans, as it's the closest thing to official canon we're getting right now. And the comic really carries the spirit of the show. I also really like this design for Rodimus Magnus. I wish this was a real toy. Kean was supposed to be at the table with Eric, but I kept missing him, though I did run into him later while walking to a restaurant with my friends, which was awesome, and it was super nice to meet him in person.
Are you JCC?
Mm-hmm.
Where's Dumb Jake? He's right there. Oh, shit.
After a very hectic dinner, JCC and I turned in for the night, both exhausted by the incredibly chaotic and fun day. By Sunday morning, I was definitely feeling the trip. I was a little bit tired, but excited for the day to come, though I still didn't really have a goal of finding anything in particular. I was a bit re-energized when we arrived at the con and immediately ran into Nod, who we waited in line with outside to get into Sunday's dealer room. The weather the whole trip was a bit chilly, but for the most part it was lovely, so I didn't mind the fresh air. And of course we were running bits while we were waiting.
It's a vegetable.
This is crazy.
I'm not crazy. I have a zoology degree.
Hey guys, do you think cinnamon's a vegetable? Comment down below if you think cinnamon is a vegetable. I think it might be a vegetable.
Okay, like it's a fruiting body, like it's soft.
I'm gonna crash out.
Flowers, right?
Once we got in, I ended up splitting off and going my own way. I was going through the bins a bit more this time, just looking for stuff. And I did spot a Transformers Prime RID hotshot that I was pretty interested in, but I decided to wait on it. I ran into Zepp, Cody, and MRC, and we walked around for a bit. Zepp and I ran off for some classic Jake and Zepp goofs and gags.
Have you drank the Rizzler tea or whatever, Arizona tea?
I'm gonna be so real. I only drink water. It's how I'm alive.
That's based.
I'm like a plant.
I love sugary bullshit that will kill me in the near future. When I die, use my death for clout, please.
Oh, I will.
Thank you.
I already have the document written up.
Okay.
I got the video ready. I just gotta hit publish.
And I finally ran into JCC again, who was buying the Takara Legend, Super Genrai, and God Bomber, which are from the Japanese side of Transformers that I know very little about. But JCC was very happy, and he was even happier when he found a boxed Cybertron Scattershot. We then ran into Diaclona, who was cosplaying as Shoma from Kamen Rider Gov, which was awesome. And it was my first time seeing the Gov IRL. After that, we had a real meeting of the minds with me, JCC, Treebot, and Nod, where once again we were running bits instead of buying little plastic men.
Guys, I met a celebrity here. I met Link from Good Mythical Morning.
Oh, when the fajita's sizzling.
I'm so
Deluxe Voyager leader. Treebot, hit the 07 Optimus Prime render pose.
Oh.
Who can do the best 07 Optimus one?
I can do the Megatron too.
Before the dealer hall closed for good, I went to check for the Prime Hotshot and he was gone. So I settled for Studio Series Cup, who was actually a great figure. I'm trying to build an 86 movie / Skybound shelf, so a good cup was essential. JCC and I ended up in the Transformers Prime panel, which featured Darren Norris, the voice of Knockout, and he also voiced Cosmo in Fairly Odd Parents, as well as Joseph Kerr, one of the main writers on seasons 1 and 2 of the show. And he also worked on one of my favorite cartoons, The Batman. I hadn't watched Prime at the time, but the panel was super fun and Darren Norris was so energized and funny. After that was a quick panel where the boss bot of the con, Colin, gave some updates and thoughts on the con, and answered questions about the show. He also finally announced that the next East Coast TFCon would be in Orlando, Florida in October of next year, which is exciting, and I'm trying to convince both myself and JCC to go. And yeah, that was TFCon. All done. Right? Well, JCC and I went and got Chipotle for dinner, and as we were finishing up, he got a call from his brother, who had apparently made a trade deal with someone at the con hotel. The only issue is that JCC's brother was all the way back in Kentucky, so we had to go back to the con hotel from our hotel to get it. This wasn't the biggest deal, but we had just settled in to unwind, so we had to rewind a bit and get an Uber over to the con. The guy JCC's brother was trading with had many other toys he was selling out of his room, one of which being a third-party figure based on Cybertron Optimus, JCC's first Optimus Prime. This figure apparently had massive QC issues, but the guy had already fixed and upgraded everything, and was only selling the figure for $100, which costs half as much as buying it new. So of course I peer pressured him to get it, and he did, though if anyone asks, it's his brother's fault. I also discovered something for myself, my first true third-party figure, the Dr. Wu Cliff Jumper, who was this mini-con sized version of the character, but still fairly complex and fun. I just had to have him, and at $15 I felt like I couldn't say no to this one final sale. So with that, we went back to the lobby, where I was able to run into Kian again, and actually get a picture, which was a nice surprise. I swear, Kian just spawned in a few times, but I'm glad he did. Afterwards, we headed back to our hotel, where we slowly went insane and were actually crying laughing at some point.
Please show me that. Show me that.
Hello.
Hello, princess.
Hello, princess.
Hello, princess. Hello, synthetic humanoid.
Hello, synthetic princess.
I can't even explain our mental state. I think it was like 2 a.m. and we just had the craziest, coolest weekends of our lives. Even watching these clips back makes me giggle.
Let me turn it off.
Oh no! No, we couldn't do it!
Okay, so I'm not going to bore you with the play-by-play of Monday. We hopped in the car and left, and it was a chill drive for the most part. I did want to wrap this video up with some final thoughts though. The first being that this trip exceeded all of my expectations. I knew I enjoyed talking to JCC, but I didn't realize how easily we would click in conversation. It really feels like I've known this dude my whole life the way we were talking. I knew I would meet some fans at the convention, but I had no clue how many I would really meet. It was insane. I probably met around 30 people that watch my channel, and it was so insanely humbling. As a YouTuber, you see the view count, but it's hard to imagine a face with every single number. And quite honestly, I still can't after this experience, but my point is, being able to put some faces to views was wild. And I was shocked to see how many younger fans I had. Several of them were accompanied by their parents. Really makes me glad I keep the channel PG-13 for the most part. But yeah, I actually sold a chunk of my collection to go on this trip. Most toys I didn't care about, and some I did. But selling those toys turned out to be insanely worth it. And while I love my figures, it's the memories that are going to stay in my collection this time. I want to thank JCC22224, Treebot Reviews, Patriot Prime Reviews, Bots Obsession, Deluxe Baldwin, MRC, Zepp and Cody Daft Brothers, Diaclona, Mike Seibert, Kian Carlisle, Pleco, Robert, Just Jake, and literally anybody who came up to me and said hello. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing, and if you'd like to support me past that, I have a YouTube membership and Patreon. For $1 a month, both give you access to the same things. My super chill Discord server where we discuss toys daily, Toku weekly, and movies monthly, as well as my weekly Toy Dive series, where I take a look at random toy lines. And you'll also get the exclusive video of me and JCC wandering around the toy department. Alright y'all, I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.